They called her the witch of Block C, the woman who thought she was too good for everyone, the tenant who refused to greet, refused to mix, refused to be part of the community. But what they didn't know was that the woman they were trying to destroy was actually saving them all. This is the story of Nora Bamidele, a story about judgment, gossip, and the dangerous assumptions we make about people we don't understand. Stay till the end, because when the truth finally comes out, it will shock you. And if you love stories about karma, redemption, and people getting exactly what they deserve, make sure you hit that subscribe button right now. You don't want to miss what happens next. Sunrise Court was like any other compound in Lagos. 20 flats packed together, sharing the same leaking roof, the same muddy drainage, the same water problems. Everyone knew everyone's business. Who was dating who couldn't pay rent, who came home late. It was the kind of place where secrets didn't last long. So when Nora Bamidele moved into Block C with her 2 children, people noticed immediately. She arrived on a Tuesday afternoon, a small moving truck, a few boxes, 2 quiet children. No husband, no relatives helping, just her. The women gathered at Madame Bridget's shop that evening, the way they always did. Madame Bridget was the landlord's older sister, and she knew everything about everyone. If you wanted information, you came to her. If you wanted gossip, you came to her. If you wanted to destroy someone's reputation, well, Madame Bridget was your woman. Did you see the new tenant? Kioma asked, buying a sachet of powdered milk. She didn't even greet anybody, just walked straight into her flat. Madame Bridget sucked her teeth. I noticed, very proud. You can see it in the way she carries herself, like she's better than all of us. Tunde, the mechanic, was fixing a generator nearby. He nodded. I said good afternoon to her. You know what she did? She just nodded. No words, just a nod, like I'm nobody. Madame Bridget said, her eyes narrowing. We have to watch that one. People who act like that are always hiding something. And just like that, before Nora had even unpacked her last box, her fate in Sunrise Court was sealed. The first few weeks were hard. Nora was trying to adjust, trying to make her small flat feel like home. Her daughter Tori was 13, quiet, always reading. Her son Emmanuel was 10, full of energy but sensitive. They'd been through so much already. Losing their father 2 years ago, moving from city to city as Nora searched for stable work. This flat in Sunrise Court was supposed to be their fresh start, but fresh starts are hard when people have already decided who you are. Nora worked from home. She was a remote research analyst for an international NGO that focused on housing and urban development. It was demanding work, long hours, video calls that stretched past midnight, reports that needed to be perfect because governments and funding organizations were reading them. She would be on her laptop for 10, sometimes 12 hours a day, analyzing data, writing assessments, attending virtual meetings with officials in Abuja, Geneva, New York. But the neighbors didn't see any of that. They just saw a woman who stayed inside all day, a woman who didn't come out to gossip, a woman who didn't attend compound meetings, a woman who, in their eyes, thought she was too good for them. If you're enjoying this story, do me a favor. Hit that like button. It helps the channel grow and brings more amazing stories like this to your feed. And drop a comment telling me, have you ever been misunderstood by people who didn't know your full story? I want to hear from you. Emmanuel felt it first. He was playing football in the compound one Saturday morning when one of the older boys pushed him hard. Emmanuel fell, scraping his knee on the concrete. "Sorry," the boy said, not sounding sorry at all. "But my mother says your mother is a witch. She says she does juju in that room. That's why she never comes out." Emmanuel felt his chest tighten. "My mother is not a witch." The boy laughed. "Then why does she act so strange? Why doesn't she talk to anybody? Even witches are friendlier than her." Emmanuel swung, his small fist connected with the boy's face. The boy stumbled back, shocked, then lunged forward. They rolled on the ground, fists flying, until adults pulled them apart. Emmanuel came home with a black eye and torn shirt. Nora was on a call, but the moment she saw him, she ended it. "Emmanuel, what happened?" He didn't want to cry, but the tears came anyway. "They called you a witch, Mama. They said you do juju. I told them you're not, but they kept saying it." Nora pulled him close, her heart breaking. "Listen to me. I'm not a witch. I'm a woman who works very hard so that you and your sister can have a roof over your heads and food on the table. People say things because they don't understand, but we don't fight them. We just keep our heads up. Okay?" Emmanuel nodded, but she could see the shame in his eyes. The shame of being the strange woman's son. That night, after the children were asleep, Nora sat in her small kitchen and cried. She was so tired of working so hard, tired of being misunderstood, tired of seeing her children suffer because people couldn't mind their own business. But she couldn't stop. She had a project to complete, a project that was bigger than all of them. Things got worse when the landlord announced a rent increase, 40%. Just like that. No warning, no negotiation. Mr. Fatai was Madame Bridget's younger brother, and he ran Sunrise Court like a business. He didn't care that the roof leaked. He didn't care that the water only ran 3 times a week. He didn't care that the compound gate was broken and thieves could walk in anytime. He just cared about money. The tenants were furious. A meeting was called. Saturday afternoon. Everybody must attend. Nora got the message, but she also got an email from her supervisor. Final draft of the Sunrise Court assessment due by Monday morning. No extensions. Government officials were waiting. She had to choose the meeting or her work. She chose her work. At the meeting, Madame Bridget stood at the front like a pastor giving a sermon. "We cannot accept this rent increase. We are suffering. Our landlord is cheating us." Everyone agreed. Everyone except the one person who wasn't there. "Where is that woman from Block C?" someone asked. Madame Bridget's eyes lit up. She'd been waiting for this. "You see, this is the problem. This woman doesn't care about us. She thinks she's above community matters. While we are here fighting for our rights, she's in her room doing who knows what." Tunde raised his hand. "I greeted her 3 times last week. She just nodded and walked past. No respect." Kioma added fuel to the fire. "My friend saw her taking calls outside at midnight. She was speaking English, big English. Maybe she's doing fraud. You know these Yahoo girls now? They've changed strategy." The room buzzed with speculation. Everyone had a theory. Everyone had something to say about the mysterious woman in Block C. Kelechi, the school teacher, tried to be the voice of reason. "Maybe she's just busy. We don't know her situation. Maybe we should try to talk to her first before..." Madame Bridget cut him off with a sharp laugh. "Kelechi, why are you defending her so much? Are you sleeping with her? Is that why?" The room exploded with laughter. Kelechi's face burned with embarrassment. He said nothing else. Before we continue, I want to remind you to subscribe to this channel. We bring you the most captivating African stories every single week. Stories that will make you laugh, cry, and see life differently. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Trust me, you'll thank me later. The meeting ended with a decision. If Nora didn't attend the next meeting, they would report her to Mr. Fatai as an uncooperative tenant and recommend her eviction. When Nora heard about this from a sympathetic neighbor, her hands started shaking. Eviction? For what? For working? For trying to survive? That evening, Emmanuel refused to go to school the next day. They are saying we're going to be thrown out. They are saying you're a criminal. Nora knelt down, held his small face in her hands. Emmanuel, look at me. I am not a criminal. I work very, very hard so that we can have a home. Don't ever let anyone make you ashamed of me. Do you hear me? He nodded, but she could see the doubt in his eyes. Tori had stopped talking at school. She would sit in class, answer questions when asked, but during breaks, she disappeared. She would hide in the library or the bathroom, anywhere she didn't have to face the whispers and giggles. One afternoon, a classmate's mother came to pick up her daughter early. As Tori walked past, the woman said loudly, making sure Tori could hear, "Stay away from that girl. Her mother is very strange. We don't know what she's into." Tori didn't cry. She'd learned not to. She just went home, went to her room, and wrote in her diary, "I hate it here. Everyone hates us. I wish we never came. I wish Daddy was still alive. He would protect us." Nora found the diary that night while putting away laundry. She read the entry and sat on Tori's bed, tears streaming down her face. She wanted to protect her children. She wanted to explain everything, but she couldn't. Not yet. The project was unfinished. If she revealed it too early, it could fall apart. So she stayed silent, and the rumors grew louder. Someone spread a lie that Nora was planning to skip town without paying rent. Another person said they saw her loading boxes into a car at night, preparing to run away. None of it was true, but truth didn't matter anymore. The story had taken on a life of its own. Mr. Fatai, pressured by his sister, sent Nora a written warning. The letter was delivered on a Friday evening. Failure to cooperate with community obligations may result in termination of tenancy. Nora read it twice, her hands trembling. She wanted to scream. She wanted to march to Mr. Fatai's flat and tell him everything. But she couldn't, not yet. The next community meeting was on Saturday afternoon. Nora decided she had to attend. She couldn't let them kick her out without at least trying to defend herself. She walked into that meeting exhausted. She hadn't slept well in weeks. Her eyes had dark circles. Her clothes, though to clean, were wrinkled. She looked exactly like what she was, a woman on the edge of collapse. The moment she entered, the room went silent. All eyes on her, judging, accusing. Madam Bridget didn't waste time. "So, you finally decided to grace us with your presence." Nora took a deep breath. "I'm sorry I haven't been around. My work schedule is very demanding. I work remotely for an NGO and sometimes I have to." "NGO?" Madam Bridget's laugh was cruel. "You sit in your room all day and call it work? My brother is losing money because of tenants like you who don't contribute to this community." Mr. Fatai shifted uncomfortably but said nothing. He wouldn't go against his sister. Nora's voice cracked. "I pay my rent on time every month. I keep to myself because I don't have time for drama. I have 2 children to feed. I'm just trying to survive." Tunde laughed bitterly. "We're all trying to survive, but we still show respect. We still greet people. We still attend meetings." The room erupted, voices overlapping, accusations flying. Everyone had something to say. Everyone had been holding it in, and now it all came pouring out. You think you're better than us. You don't greet. You're always on the phone speaking English like we're beneath you. What are you really doing in that room? Kelechi tried one more time. Please, let her speak. But it was useless. The mob had decided. Nora stood up, tears in her eyes, voice shaking but firm. You don't know me. You never tried to know me. But one day you will. And she walked out. Now, before I tell you what happens next, I need you to do something. If you've ever felt misunderstood, if you've ever been judged unfairly, drop a comment right now. Tell me your story. And if you believe in karma, if you believe that truth always comes to light, smash that like button, because what's about to happen will blow your mind. 2 days later, on a Monday morning, 3 black SUVs pulled into Sunrise Court. Brand new, tinted windows, government plates. The compound froze. People stopped what they were doing. Children stopped playing. Women stopped sweeping. Everyone watched. Out stepped 6 people in crisp suits. Government officials, clipboards, cameras. Behind them, a large van with bold letters, Federal Housing and Urban Development Initiative. Madame Bridget rushed out of her shop, her antennae twitching. Something was happening, and she needed to be in the middle of it. Good morning, officers. Is there a problem? The lead official, a stern woman in glasses, looked at her clipboard. We're looking for Mrs. Nora Bamidele. Does she live here? The compound gasped. Collective, dramatic. Someone whispered. I knew it. I knew she was into something. Madame Bridget's eyes gleamed with vindication. Finally, the truth would come out. Yes, she lives in Block C. Officers, if she's done something wrong, we've been trying to tell the landlord. The official frowned, confused. Wrong? Why would she have done something wrong? Madame Bridget blinked. I just thought, you're here to arrest her. The official looked genuinely puzzled. Arrest her? Mrs. Bamidele is part of the research team that recommended this property for our National Community Renewal Program. Silence. Complete, absolute silence. The official continued. She's the reason we're here. You could hear a pin drop. Madame Bridget's mouth opened and closed like a fish out of water. Tunde looked like he'd been slapped. Kioma grabbed her chest. Mr. Fatai stumbled forward. I don't understand. The official pulled out a thick folder. For the past 6 months, Mrs. Bamidele has been conducting detailed assessments on low-income housing communities across Lagos State. Sunrise Court was flagged as a priority property due to poor infrastructure, exploitative rent practices, and landlord negligence. Her report triggered this intervention. Mr. Fatai's face lost all its color. The official continued reading from the folder. Thanks to Mrs. Bamidele's comprehensive work, Sunrise Court has been approved for full renovation. This includes structural repairs, installation of solar-powered water systems, drainage reconstruction, and gate security. Additionally, rent will be frozen for 2 years, while improvements are made, and all tenancy agreements will undergo legal review to ensure compliance with federal housing standards. Madame Bridget looked like she might faint. The woman she'd called proud, secretive, suspicious, the woman she'd tried to get evicted, had just saved the entire compound. The official looked around. Where is Mrs. Bamidele? We need her to sign off on the final site inspection. Kelechi stepped forward quietly. I'll get her. He walked to Block C and knocked gently. Nora opened the door. Her eyes were red, like she'd been crying. When she saw Kelechi, she looked worried. They're asking for you. Kelechi said softly. "The government people, they're here." Nora took a deep breath, straightened her shoulders, and walked out. The moment she appeared, the compound held its breath. The official's face brightened. "Mrs. Bamidele, thank you for your patience. We're ready to proceed with the inspection." Nora shook her hand professionally. "Of course, let me show you around." And then something magical happened. Something nobody in Sunrise Court had ever seen. Nora transformed. She walked the officials through the property, pointing out every crack in the walls, every leak in the roof, every drainage problem, every electrical hazard. She spoke with authority, with knowledge, with confidence. She pulled out her own notes, cross-referenced them with the officials' documents, discussed load-bearing structures and water pressure and building codes. She wasn't the quiet, suspicious woman anymore. She was an expert, a professional, someone who knew exactly what she was doing. The neighbors watched in stunned silence. This was the woman they'd called a witch. This was the woman they'd accused of fraud. The inspection took 2 hours. When it was done, the lead official shook Nora's hand warmly. "Excellent work, Mrs. Bamidele. Your report was thorough and well documented. Because of you, over 60 families will have better living conditions. Well done." Nora smiled, a real smile. "Thank you. That's all I ever wanted." The SUVs drove away, leaving behind a compound full of shamefaced people who suddenly couldn't look Nora in the eye. Nora turned to face them, all of them. Madame Bridget, Tunde, Kioma, Mr. Fatai, everyone who had judged her, everyone who had made her children cry, everyone who had made her life hell for 6 months. Nobody spoke, nobody moved. Finally, Madame Bridget whispered, her voice small, We didn't know." Nora's voice was steady, but her eyes burned with quiet fire. "You never asked. You saw a woman who kept to herself and decided she was the enemy. You made my children cry. You made me question my worth. Not because I did anything wrong, but because I didn't perform for you. Because I didn't come out and gossip. Because I didn't attend every meeting. Because I was busy working on something that would actually help all of you. If you're still watching, leave a comment right now. Tell me, what would you have done if you were Nora? Would you have forgiven them? Would you have moved out? Let me know in the comments. And make sure you're subscribed because we're almost at the end and you don't want to miss how the story concludes. Nora continued, her voice stronger now. "I didn't fight loudly because I was fighting a different battle. I didn't defend myself because I was too busy defending my children's future. Every night you were outside gossiping, I was working. Every meeting I missed, I was on calls with government officials trying to get funding approved. Every time you called me proud, I was writing reports that would change your lives." She paused, letting her words sink in. "You should have known me before judging me." Mr. Fatai stepped forward, his voice shaking. "Mrs. Bamidele, I apologize. If I had known what you were doing, I would never have. You should have known before sending me a warning letter," Nora said firmly. "You should have known before threatening to evict a widow and her 2 children. You should have known before letting your sister poison this entire compound against me." Mr. Fatai had no response. What could he say? Nora looked at all of them one more time, then turned and walked back to her flat, head high, shoulders straight. Victorious. Over the next few weeks, change came to Sunrise Court, slowly, awkwardly, but genuinely. Madame Bridget appeared at Nora's door one evening carrying a large pot of jollof rice. She didn't say anything, just placed it at the doorstep, knocked, and walked away quickly. Inside the pot was a small note. "I'm sorry." Tunde showed up the next day with his toolbox and fixed Nora's window that had been broken for months. He worked in silence, refusing to make eye contact, but when he finished, he mumbled, "Sorry, ma." Chioma stopped her daughter in the compound one afternoon. Tori was walking home from school, head down as usual. "Amara," Chioma said to her daughter loudly, making sure Tori could hear, "Go and play with Tori. She's a good girl, a very good girl." Amara smiled and ran to Tori. For the first time in months, Tori smiled back. The renovation began. Construction workers arrived. The roof was fixed. The drainage system was reconstructed. New gates were installed with proper security. Solar panels were mounted on the roofs. Water tanks were connected. The walls were repainted in bright, cheerful colors. Sunrise Court was transforming, and everyone knew who to thank. One Saturday morning, Kelechi's son knocked on Nora's door. "Auntie, is Emmanuel home? We're playing football. We need one more player." Emmanuel looked at his mother, uncertain. Nora smiled and nodded. "Go, have fun." Emmanuel ran out, and for the first time in months, Nora heard him laugh. Really laugh. The sound filled her heart. 3 months after the inspection, it was Emmanuel's 11th birthday. Nora planned a small celebration, just the three of them. Cake, jollof rice, some soft drinks. Nothing fancy. They didn't need fancy, they just needed peace. But on the morning of the birthday, there was a knock at the door. Nora opened it to find Kelechi standing there with a large cake. "The compound wanted to contribute," he said shyly. Before Nora could respond, more knocks came. Madam Bridget with decorations, Tunde with drinks, Chioma with her daughter and a gift. One by one, the neighbors arrived, not because they were forced to, but because they wanted to. The courtyard filled with people, music played, children ran around, food was shared. Emmanuel stood in the middle, overwhelmed, as everyone sang happy birthday. He blew out his candles, surrounded by the same people who had once made his life miserable. But they weren't those people anymore. They were learning, growing, changing. Nora stood to the side watching, tears streaming down her face. But these weren't tears of pain. They were tears of relief, of vindication, of hope. Kelechi appeared beside her. "You proved them all wrong." Nora shook her head. "I didn't prove anything. I just kept going. That's all any of us can do. Just keep going." As the party continued, as laughter filled Sunrise Court, as her children played freely with other children, Nora thought about everything she'd been through. The judgment, the gossip, the loneliness, the nights she'd cried herself to sleep, the days she'd questioned if it was all worth it. It was worth it, every single moment, because the quietest people are often fighting the loudest battles. The people you judge are often carrying weights you can't see. The woman you call proud might just be protecting herself. The person who doesn't attend your meetings might be working on something that will change your life. Before you judge someone, before you gossip about them, before you try to destroy them, ask yourself, do I really know their story? Do I really know what they're going through? Because one day, like the people of Sunrise Court, you might discover that the person you were trying to tear down was actually the one holding you up. And before you go, I want you to do 3 things. First, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Second, like this video and share it with someone who needs to hear this story. And third, drop a comment telling me what lesson you learned from Nora's story. I read every single comment and I want to hear from you. This has been another powerful story from our channel. Remember, the truth always comes to light. Karma is real, and the people you underestimate today might be the ones who save you tomorrow. Until next time, stay blessed, stay humble, and always remember, you never know what battle someone else is fighting. So choose kindness, choose understanding, choose to ask before you judge. See you in the next video.